everybody. Today I am bringing you a book tag that I was tagged in recently, and I found it to be quite the interesting tag, and so I'm gonna do it. I don't do too many book tags these days. I remember when I started, I used to do them all the time, and they're fun, but sometimes I prioritize, and I haven't been doing too many videos lately, so I thought, why not? Let's do this. Let me answer some questions. All right, so this tag was created by the Bookish Drummer, and I was tagged by Nerdy Kathy, so thank you for that. And it's the Would You Rather Impossible Edition, and these questions are a little hard, so let's see what we get into here. Question number 1, would you rather only be able to read your favorite book once every 10 years, or be forced to read your least favorite book once a year? Honestly, I'm not a big rereader, so I think honestly I would go with I would only be able to reread my favorite book once every 10 years. That seems fair to me. It's better than reading my least favorite book once a year. That sounds like torture to me, honestly. Prompt number 2. And especially since I know what my least favorite book is, I'm not going to say what it is, but anyways, question number 2, would you rather be forced to get rid of all your books by your favorite author, or get rid of your entire library besides your favorite author? This one's tough to answer because I've been thinking about how I should keep my library lately, and I'm like, should I just have books that I'm going to read, like TBR, like this would be my TBR, which it's not very far from the truth, or would I do it differently? Would I just have like all the books that I loved and save those ones? And I don't know. That's a tough one. This one is hard. I don't know what to answer. I'm just gonna say I am going to get rid of all my books, except for my favorite author. I think having a big collection of Stephen King books would be awesome. That's tough though. I mean, like, you could just continue rereading Stephen King if you had to, but I read a lot in my Kindle these days and audiobooks, so it's not necessarily a big thing. Question number 3, would you rather only be able to read very short books, less than 300 pages, or very long books, 700 plus pages? This is another good question because it really depends on the genre. I find that fantasy really works well if it's longer, because you have a lot of world building and slow character growth and whatnot, plotting, politics, all that fun stuff. And if it's done well, it can be exciting, especially when there's a big payoff. Brandon Sanderson's really good at that kind of stuff. But horror books I find are better if they're shorter. So, I mean, unless you're Stephen King or Joe Hill, I mean, they do the really long horror books quite well. But I think I'm going to go with less than 300 pages. Because I read predominantly horror books, so I guess I'd only be able to read 300 books. That's a tough one though, because I like the thick books too, the 700 plus books. All right, question number 4 here. Would you rather your favorite series get a terrible adaptation or never be adapted? This one actually I'm quite indifferent on, because The Wheel of Time, I wouldn't say is my favorite series, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, they did adapt it into a pretty bad TV series, and I just didn't watch. So I don't care, honestly. They can adapt it, I'll watch it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, then I just won't continue to watch. I guess I would go with terrible adaptation, because really, who cares in the end? Although I would prefer it to be a good adaptation, something that is more like the show or the books itself. All right, question number 5. Would you rather an unfinished series have a terrible ending, or remain unfinished forever? Now, we all know that this might be a jab at George R.R. Martin. And I don't know, this is a good question too, because there have been some terrible endings. Honestly, I'm definitely more of a journeyman. I like the journey, and the ending doesn't necessarily have to be satisfying for me to enjoy it. So I guess I would choose the terrible ending. But, you know, if we're going to go the George R. Martin route, where it's looking like it probably won't be finished, that's okay too, honestly, because like if you look at the first 3 books in A Song of Ice and Fire are the best 3 books, and they're the most exciting. Honestly, I could just read those and reread them until the end of time. And to me, that's the series. The next 2 books are just like icing on the cake. They're not necessary, I guess, but they're fun too. They're just not. It really slows down. You can tell that the books were meant to be a trilogy in the first place, but because of their popularity, they decided to grow things. And like books 2 and 3, that's where George R. R. Martin starts putting in new plot points that he has to wrap up later, and he's not doing a very good job of that with books 4 and 5. So, either or, but I guess I would go with the bad ending, at least so you know how it ends. Question number 6. Would you rather cut your reading time in half or cut your book buying budget in half? This one's actually easy for me. I'd rather cut the book buying budget in half, because there's other ways of getting books. There's the library. You can pester them for books. There's also like subscriptions like Kindle Unlimited and whatnot. There's plenty of ways of getting books, either cheaper or free. So, and like morally good ways of getting them for free. So I would definitely, and saving money on books would be great, because I buy way too many books. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but I buy way too many books. And so, yeah, and cutting, like, I have a booktube channel. I can't cut my time in half. I cannot cut my time in half, man. If anything, I would like to read more. All right. Question number 7. Would you rather be forced to listen to audiobooks at 3 times the speed, or listen to audiobooks at half the speed, so 0.5? This one's tough too, because I can't stand it when the reader's reading really slow. I'll speed it up. I don't speed it up too much. I can't go much past 1.5. I know people who listen at 2 times the speed or faster, but I absolutely cannot listen at all to 3 times speed. I can't even do 2 times speed. They start sounding like chipmunks at that point. So I would go with the half the speed, because I'd rather suffer through somebody speaking very slowly than something I can't understand at all. Question number 8. Would you rather be able to read physically or physical books, or only be able to listen to audiobooks? I love audiobooks, but I would choose physical books over that if I could. The thing is I can't. The only reason why I read so many books as I do is because the majority, I would say over half of them are audiobooks, but I do read a lot of physical, or at least Kindle ebooks as well. But if it were up to me and I had the time, and I wasn't listening to all the books I listen to at work, because that's where I listen to a lot of my books, I would definitely go with the physical books. But because of my lifestyle and my job, I would have to go with the audiobook route. So it depends on the situation in my life. But only be able to, that doesn't really suggest a change in life. So I guess I would have to choose audiobook. Although I would prefer it if I could just sit around and read physical books all day long. That would be my perfect world scenario, but I guess you could just say we're not in a perfect world, are we? Question 9. Would you rather be stuck reading a mix of 3 and 4-star books, or read a mix of 1 and 5-star books? Excuse me. That's a great question too, because honestly, the majority of books I read are probably 4-star books. I don't really give too much weight to the to the star rating thing. But 4-star books are mean in my the way I rate or the way I give stars to books. That's a 4-star rating is good, and when you get down to the 3, it's sort of meh, not so good. But so 5-star books are the books that totally blew my socks off. I used to sprinkle 5 stars on books like it was candy at Halloween. I gave out way too many 5 stars, and I've cut back on that. My rule is only 4-star reads if I enjoyed it, and if I didn't really enjoy it, it's 3-star. If it blew my socks off for whatever reason, and I can't stop talking about it or thinking about it, then it gets 5 stars. So, this is a tough question to answer too, because you're never going to get your socks blown off again. But 1-star reads for me, I don't even finish those books. If it's going to be a 1-star or a 2-star, I'm just like, yeah, it's not for me. 5-star books, though, do you really want to be having your socks blown off every second or third book you read? It would lessen at some point. It wouldn't be quite as good a feeling if it kept happening over and over again. So you'd be just chasing the dragon all the time. So I guess I'll go with 3 and 4-star books. Yeah, these questions, they're tough, man. Okay, last question here. Would you rather only watch your favorite booktuber or watch everyone besides your favorite booktuber? This one's actually kind of easy because I don't have necessarily a favorite and ultimate favorite booktuber. I watch a lot of booktubers. So I'm going to choose everyone. Because I don't necessarily have a favorite booktuber, so all of them. Sure, let's do all of them. Everyone but my favorite, but because I don't have a favorite necessarily, then that doesn't really... I have my favorites, of course, and if that's part of the case, then I would only want to watch my favorites, because there's a good, 5 to 10 of them, so that's enough to keep me happy. But if we're only talking about one, then I would choose everyone but that one. So there's your answer. I am going to tag some people here because I don't know if people have done this. I'm not up on the tag videos, and I don't often get tagged because I don't generally do these things, but not anymore anyway. I used to all the time. I think I said that. Anyways, I'm going to tag 2 people here. I'm going to tag my but the Cryptid Readathong co-hosts. So Sin from Sin's Book Nook, and Crystal from Fiber Artsy. You guys are, you don't have to do it, of course, but I'm tagging you guys. And if you've already done it, then don't do it again, obviously. Alright, so that's my answers for this pretty cool tag. I want to thank Nerdy Kathy again for tagging me. And that's it. Keep being safe, everyone. Keep being weird, because weird is awesome. And lastly, keep being creative. And I'll catch you guys in the next bookish video.